Hello and welcome to the Orthodox View, where we discuss latest religious news from an Orthodox Christian perspective. I am its host, Philip Champion. A museum of Christianity is to be created at the excavation site in the old Greek city in Crimea. Archaeologists began excavating Chersonesus suburb only half a year ago. Since that time, scientists have discovered over 280,000 artifacts. The discoveries date back to the period from the 3rd century before Christ up to the Crimean War. Among them is a Hellenic swimming pool, Nymphaion, which used to be filled with underground water. Scientists believe that it could be one of the first Christian baptismal fonts in ancient Chersonesus. Archaeologists managed to find a baptismal cross from the 10th century, the time when the Russian Prince Vladimir was baptized. For the half a year of the expedition work, scientists have found adornments, coins, plates, dishes, and various ceramic goods. After the restoration, over 60,000 units will be handed over to the open-air museum. The director of the State Archaeological Preserve, Yelena Morozova, believes that after the end of all the expeditions at the excavation site, there will be a historical archaeological park and a museum of Christianity. What's remarkable is that the excavations of the ancient city began in the Russian Empire as far back as 1827. In the late 20th century, archaeologists discovered the Cathedral Church of St. Peter, in which Prince Vladimir was baptized. The Andrei Rublev Central Museum of Old Russian Culture and Art has inaugurated an extraordinary exhibition. Displayed are over 50 16th to 19th century icons restored by students and professors of the Chair of Restoration of St. Tikhon Orthodox University of Humanities. It took years to restore some icons. Thousands of surface damages had to be thoroughly embedded. For instance, it took about 4 years to restore an 18th century icon, the Resurrection of Christ, the Descent into Hades. In addition, restorers managed to reveal to the world the names of still unknown Russian icon painters Ivan Gorbunov and Tikhon Mogotov. Thus, the anonymous icons have found their authors. The first Orthodox chapel of St. Cyril and Methodius to be built in Brazil has been opened. Its opening ceremony in Campina das Missas gathered together representatives of the city authorities, local activists, public figures, and clergy of the Russian Orthodox Church and Russian diplomats. Archpriest Anatoly Topala, dean of the Brazilian deanery, said the following during the event, I quote, "Over 100 years have passed, yet the descendants of the first Slavic settlers seek to preserve their faith, culture, and history." The chapel was built with the help of the donations of the parishioners of the local Orthodox Church and with an active help of the Russian Orthodox Church clergy in Brazil. A brick was laid in the foundation, one of the bricks produced at a small factory belonging to descendants of Russian immigrants in the city. The first Russian settlers arrived in Campina das Missas in 1909. His Beatitude Anastasius, Archbishop of Tirana and all Albania, called upon the faithful to take an active part in the population census to take place in 2022. The Archbishop noted that in the course of the previous census, the number of Orthodox Christians in the country decreased to 10%, which does not correspond to reality. Archbishop Anastasius stressed that although Orthodox Christians do not make up the majority in the country, their number amounts to 30%. Apart from that, Archbishop Anastasius warned the faithful against the trap of optional answers in registering their confessional affiliation. He called upon the faithful to insist on their belonging to Orthodoxy and to not let be deceived by vague questions. A population census is also going to take part in Russia. Permanent residents of Russia are to answer 33 questions on the census list, while temporary residents in the territory of the country are to answer only 7 questions. The question about one's religious affiliation is not on the list of the Russian census. The Holy Synod of the Orthodox Church of Antioch took place in Balamand after 2 years-long interruption. The Patriarchate of Antioch called upon local Orthodox churches to begin an open and honest discussion on the crisis in the world Orthodoxy caused by the developments in Ukraine and the consequent rupture of relations between Moscow and Constantinople. I quote, "The Synod Fathers considered the challenges facing Orthodoxy in the contemporary world and stressed the importance of preserving the unity of Orthodoxy, respecting the canonical tradition of the Church, and avoiding anything that would worsen existing disputes, potentially transforming them into larger and more consequential divisions in the one body of Christ." In this regard, they called for the opening of a comprehensive dialogue concerning all the accumulated controversial issues in order to find solutions that would allow the restoration of ecclesiastical communion within one Orthodox family. End of quote. Here we must remember that the Russian Orthodox Church had seized the Eucharistic communion with the Patriarchate of Constantinople due to the unilateral decision made by Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople in 2018 to support the schismatics with no valid ordination and create the so-called Orthodox Church of Ukraine. This is all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time on The Orthodox View.